Many people feel that UFC 321 was ruined because of an eye poke in the main event, and there was a lot of outrage on both sides. Was it intentional? Was it not? Does intention even matter when there's a foul? And it hasn't taken long for the commissions to step up and already look to enact some changes. Joshua had a couple of conversations with a few people, and it looks like there are some new rules on the horizon sooner rather than later to try to fix these situations. My name is Angelo. This is Josh Thompson, and welcome to Bad Takes. Josh, I was trying to think of a funny insult as a transition, which I'm usually pretty good at, and I can't think of one right now. So why don't you just jump right in and tell me what the hell is going on?
I threw you off. I got a haircut this morning right before I came. You're like, damn, he's better looking every single
I'm
time I see him.
mesmerized. I just can't put together a clean thought because it's like, look at that.
Because I have a hairline and you don't. That's what this is.
I have a hairline. It's
You're
just not
jealous.
fake. Yours is, if you guys don't know, Josh is going to sit here and pretend, look how young and handsome. He went to Turkey. That is a fake hairline.
No, it is not. Please.
Okay.
This is why people I did not get a Turkish touch-up. And also I've heard that the Turkish touch-ups don't work.
They don't look great on some people. Some people, like Damon Jackson's looks really good, but there's a few others that like they get a little sweaty and it's like, whoa, that's not good.
There's one, I guess, apparently out of LA that's, I guess, just catching on fire right now. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's been going to LA more so to get one. I don't need one, bro. I was born with this. You can tell it's not going anywhere. This is from a scar, by the way, from Tony Ferguson. So that's why hair doesn't grow in that spot. I have
also, you can't brag about things that you have no, you didn't do that.
Yeah, I did. I picked my parents. I let them fucking, I chose which egg I wanted to go into. Yeah. I was like, that's the one right there. I'm fucking all in. I need the hairline. I need
you're short.
Line.
So God giveth and God taketh.
Yeah, that's true. I am a little shorter. I'm not super short. I'm a fucking 5'10". I'm like,
way about a foot shorter than I am. So I'm not an NBA player, but
I know. The exaggerations left and right coming out of your mouth. All right, look. Every person that I've talked to in terms of referees, even some judges and two commissions, and like I've had conversations with people that work for these commissions, and look, the UFC is really looking forward to try and have some sort of rule change. And it's not even so much a rule change, it's more of like an amendment. So look, fouling is definitely one of those things where the eye poke it could actually really affect the fight. Growing shots, most of the fighters wear steel cups, and it's a little bit of a pinch and it hurts a little bit. Fence grabs, it has an effect on the fight, but not an injury effect. Illegal blows, obviously back of the head, knees, all that stuff, that has an effect on the actual fight as well, and whether the fighter is fighting compromise moving forward. From what I understand, and literally like hours on the phone the last 2 days talking about this, because if they do try to make this amendment, it may happen as soon as UFC 322, which is in 2 weeks, right? 2-3 weeks.
So it's in 2 weeks. That's in New York.
Yes. So if they implement this, will be rules across all rule changes. So it will go basically. It'll be the.
Doesn't each commission have to like adopt these rules? They have to like accept them.
That's why I'm saying it's not a rule change. It's more of an amendment to the rule. So if that's the case, and you're just keeping the same rule, now we're just applying it differently. You're enforcing it differently. And the way they're going to do that is by saying, hey, we're taking it out of the referee's hands. The ref, it was all based off of discretion. Am I correct? Yes, I am. Because I have that PhD and that.
I don't know if that was a real question or rhetorical. So yes.
Okay. So they're going to, right now it's all based on, okay, every eye poke is different. Every action is, okay, was it done on purpose? It's not. I understand. I was listening to the Ariel, some of the stuff I talked about it on my own show last night. And I also listened to a couple other perspectives as well. I do agree in Ariel's position is that like an eye poke is an eye poke. 100%.
Yeah, who cares? Who cares if it was on purpose? Yeah. If it's on purpose, maybe you should get DQ'd for being a piece of shit. Yeah. It doesn't change that the finger went in the eye.
Yeah. So let's just exactly what you just said. So if it's the eye poke is an eye poke, okay, whether you did it accidentally or not, there should be a point taken away or should be a DQ. I'm not on the bandwagon of the DQ situation. Every eye poke is different and every fighter reacts differently to an eye poke. Look, we all saw the knuckle go deep on the right eye or the left eye, and then the knuckle barely touched the front of the eye on the other one, and that's the one that he was bothered by.
Sure. Yeah.
So
When you're faking an injury, you might forget which eye you should be.
wow, you just went there. You went you went all in on this. Okay. You're selling the idiot part really well. That's what
I'm
you
not.
really
That was like I said that just to be a little,
yes, yeah.
whatever. But I do think he's hammering it up. But that's not the point here. Go
Okay.
ahead.
That's okay.
Continue with the rule
Okay,
amendment.
so the amendment or the rule amendment, whatever it is, it will basically be you will get one warning for your hands being out, open and out. If you reach, and this normally happens for defensive fighters. If a guy steps in, no different than how it happened last Saturday night. Okay. Tom Aspinall steps in to throw a punch with a closed fist. The defensive fighter defensively tries to parry the punch or put their arms out to deflect the punch. And that's what happened is Tom Aspinall stepped in at the same time that he put his hands out to defend, and the eyes and the fingers went into the eyes. That's generally like 90% of the time. That's how it happens. It's very rare that a fighter offensively steps in and throws his hands out like that. It's very very unheard of, unless you're Nate Diaz and you're slapping fools, right? That's how it works. That will then, I'm just going to use Nate Diaz as a reference because that now will be 1 point. He offensively tried to slap someone with an open hand. That now will be a point.
Wait, you can't slap somebody?
No, because that is
Why
an
not?
offensive move with your hands and your fingers open. That's where my concern lies with this amendment.
Yeah, this is getting a little ridiculous now.
There you go. And so what you will get is one warning with your hands being open.
Just for standing there. I didn't touch you. I didn't do shit. This is my weirdo stance. Boom. Warning.
This is it.
Warning.
Warning. Hard
Other
warning.
side of the cage.
Close your hands. Close your hands. Second time it is 1 point. Third time.
Just I'm
1
standing
point.
on the other side of the cage like this.
Don't be a smart ass.
Penalized.
Don't be a
No,
you
I'm
have-
saying
you
like
have to
literally you
be-
don't have to
be-
engage.
No, you have to be in a stand-up striking position for the two of you guys to engage. It can't be
Okay.
like from far away, that type of thing. Okay. Like,
Okay, all right, all right.
you've got to be like, if you guys are engaged, if I reach my hands out at all and they are open like this. Okay. I know you don't know how to
This-
strike. That's my point. This is where I am at with this. This is why I was so concerned. Ariel's got a big platform. He's got a big voice. He speaks out on it, and he's like, it should be an automatic DQ. I understand where you're going with this, Ariel Helwani. I do. I really do. But we're opening, like I said last night on my show, we're opening Pandora's box to allowing the rules to take over the sport. You're taking it out of the refs, out of his ability to say like, hey, it wasn't egregious.
There's no judgment calls.
There
If
is
it's
no
that black
judgment
and white.
anymore.
Yeah, if it's that black and
It's going to
white.
be black and white. The problem is when I say it opened up Pandora's box is now you're going to see fighters losing 2-3 points in a 5-round fight possibly. As soon as he does this and reaches out with his open hands, they have to take a point. They're taking it out of the ref's decision. He has no choice or option but to go ahead and take the point. There's that. Also, what I mean by this is if you're going to do that for eye pokes and open hands, why are you not doing that for someone who has control when they decide to grab the fence?
I actually, that piece I can understand because like they did it perfectly in the Azat Maxim fight at 321. Azat grabbed the fence. Grabbing the fence fundamentally changed what was happening in that exchange. They instantly took a point away.
Okay,
But if you're like
that
half
is
defending
also-
a takedown and you grab a little bit, it didn't change anything.
How do you know? I wasn't able to lift and scoop you. That's the thing is see, this is what they're doing. They're getting rid of the ref's opinion by doing this the way for the eye pokes. They're getting rid of it. It doesn't matter. Every time you extend your hands, it will be a point. The biggest concern really is, okay, you're going to open up this whole idea that the fights are fixed or the refs are betting on fights or UFC's betting on fights.
You're saying too many points to be flying.
Vegas is buying the fights. It's really going to get scary, especially what's going on right now with the NBA and what's going on, like there was all that talk last year with the Chiefs and the refs and the bias and all this.
Happened this year too. Wasn't there a Lions game where the NFL called down? No, not the was it Chiefs Lions? Is that what it happened this year? Yeah, where they literally called down and said pull back that touchdown.
Yeah. But this is where we already got slammed with the James Krause situation. We don't want our sport to be involved in this. And
it's the easiest sport to fix, honestly.
It is
like fix as in fix the fights, not fix like repair. Fix like it's one person in there.
Yeah.
One person could just be on a payroll somewhere and do whatever. It's crazy.
So, okay, so let's like, what are your thoughts just simply on the fact that, like, hey, if I extend my hands after one hard warning, okay, the point is taken.
It definitely gets dicey. I would prefer if there's an eye poke, severe or otherwise, instantly a point. That to me would make more sense. Instantly a point for the actual poking of the eye. Because if you're making people close their hands, which I understand your hands should be closed in most exchanges, if you're forcing them to close their hands, you're also forcing how they stand, how they fight. If we go back in time a little bit, Demetrius Johnson has a couple of highlights floating around on the internet. One of which was that insane pickup slam. Well, but like all time highlights. He picks the dude up, he slams him down, he arm bars him halfway through the slam. All
Great
time
point.
moment.
It's a great
Another
point.
moment
Yeah.
is I forget the exact exchange, but he like throws a combination, kicks the leg out, shoves his opponent, and when he shoves him, he comes jumping in with a flying knee. So now in that world, let's say I do have you up against the cage and I'm throwing, you come forward. I can't shove you to then lower my level and shoot a takedown because my hands were open on a push.
Mm.
Like penalizing just because your hands are open seems extreme. That seems extreme. Now, we have seen instances where referees have said ahead of time, close your fist, before there's an eye poke. We've seen that. But that is still very different than your hands are open, point. Like, because if you're standing like this with your hand out forward, that
Hard
is very
warning.
different. That's very different than like, I'm throwing. I open my hands to push you. I close them back up. I can't push people anymore. I have to push like this. It feels, and a full point is crazy. I understand the new world, the new scoring. It's supposed to be much easier to get a 10-8. Like it used to be back in the day, a 10-8 was somebody almost died. Now a 10-8 should be easier to come by, but they're actually not. I've seen a couple more 10-8s, but not as many as we probably should given the new rules. So taking a point away is crazy. Like you basically just sealed the fate of that fight by taking a point away willy-nilly. If it's deserved, it's deserved, obviously. The idea of taking points away for things that did not happen, you're taking a point away for a foul that didn't happen yet. That seems a bit extreme. Spend the money on gloves that curve, or take the point away the second it happens. Let's say there's a half an eye poke, take a point away. But if there's no eye poke and I'm just standing like this, I haven't touched you, I haven't hurt you, I haven't fouled you, why am I losing points?
That's what they're looking to do.
That's crazy.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so what happens is when something like this happens in
This is Jim Miller's fault, by the way, not Ariel Hawani's.
well,
Did you see what Jim?
I heard Jim talking about it.
Yeah, this is Jim's fault. This is not Ariel Hawani's fault.
He said this a while back, probably about a year ago, I think. 6 months, 8 months ago, he said something like this about like every time you take a point.
After it happens, I understand after it happens, but to preemptively take a point is crazy.
Here, like I want to preface it also by saying this: when I talked to Jason Herzog, he legit was going to take a point had the fight continued. He's like, I would have possibly.
Yeah, he didn't have the opportunity. Yeah,
he's like, I would have possibly taken 2 points.
Sure,
because he has the ability to do that. It just depends on how egregious it was and how double fisted, dude, like double eye poked.
Yeah, he didn't get the opportunity because Tom Aspinall ran out of there. I can't see.
Stop. Brutal, man. You're killing me with this nonsense. If you had $3 million on the line and you're like, okay, I can make another $3 million if I was to, just like, hey, I can't really see. I'm not 100% because this guy fouled me. Would you do it?
We already had the discussion.
Yes or no question.
No, let me. I'm getting. I promise I'll answer. I already said, could he continue and should he continue are two different answers. Could he? Yes. Should he? No. So no.
Why do you keep taking digs at him?
Because do it a little better. Don't put on at least do it like dude. The dude screamed, "I can't see 5 seconds." Like, dude, at least put on a show. Put on a show. Make us earn it.
See, I didn't have a problem with what he did. He's like, I can't see. Like that's your if you were to get poked in the eye at home, your natural reaction is I can't see. That's your natural reaction.
Yeah, he said it 11 times over 4 minutes and never took the rag off his eye to even attempt to see.
He did take the rag off his eye because they gave him 3 different rags. I talked to the commission. They messed up and gave him just one with a little bit of water on it. He dabbed it. He's like, it's not wet enough. They gave him a second one that was kind of damp. He put that on, and they're actually supposed to give you a cold compress. That's what it says. They give him like something to help get the swelling or ease the eye or whatever it is. I don't know how cold and eye going together, whatever it is, but apparently it's supposed to help with your eye when you get
Well,
poked in the eye.
the good news is,
They finally did that. The third one, which was about 3.5 minutes in.
oh,
So
well,
him saying he couldn't see was legit. He couldn't see.
the good news is, and we'll never know, obviously. And the good news is, the two medical professionals that have examined him on camera have both said there's absolutely nothing wrong with his eye. So that's great news. Also, we're 4 days removed from this, and his father, who will ruin his career, I'll say that right now. You don't think his father's going to start to
Oh
become
no,
a little
no,
bit of a problem?
I'm on the bandwagon with the
Oh,
dad.
okay.
Just stay
Yeah,
off
yeah,
social media. Stay off. It's just
yeah.
don't even put a camera near your dad.
He's going to ruin his career, and not ruin his career like make Tom suck at fighting, because he obviously helped Tom get good at fighting. This should be a whole separate video. Let's make this a whole separate video, because I hate that whole father-son duo in 99% of situations. Your
You don't
father
watch
can
any
help.
other sport but this because
No, in combat sports, I hate the
yeah,
father-son
okay.
duo. Like, it can get you to a certain point, and then after that, like, why is he also your manager? Like, it's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much control. Anyway, back to the rule thing. If we go the Tom Aspinall,
Do I do this to people? Do I get people off task the way I talk? I must.
well, this is a healthy debate about the eye poke thing, what's funny is I got a lot of hate early for being like, I think he could have continued. I got a lot of hate early, still getting hate. There's obviously Tom Aspinall fans, and of course, we don't know if he can see or not. I'm just, judging based off of similar situations we've seen. But as time goes on, and as we had the video footage that Tom and his father released, that the doctor is like, your eye is totally fine, there is no damage whatsoever. And now his dad, 4 or 5 days later, is saying he still can't see out of that eye. Dude, what are we doing? Stop it. Stop.
Okay. I'm going to rebuttal you a little bit based off of the guy that Ariel Helwani had on, who was an eye doctor. And he said, look, just because we say that the eye is fine doesn't mean that there's not like some sort of small scratch. And it doesn't mean that there's not something where he can't see or visually can't see. He's like, that's not, when he says that, when the doctor says the eye is fine, it means that there's no permanent damage to the eye. That's what he means. That's what he means.
Sure. But there was 2 different doctors. One of them was an eye doctor. The second video, Tom was in the machine that would tell you if there was an abrasion. It was that freaking eye machine.
Mhm.
That doctor is like, there's no issues with your eye at all. He didn't say you have a couple scratches, they're going to heal. He said you have no issues. I understand the regular doctor with the light, like, okay, yeah, you look fine. But this was an ophthalmologist or ophthalmologist, whichever one's a medical.
I understand what you're saying. But that same guy that was on, I think it was Ariel's show, he's like, no, just because we looked at you, it doesn't mean that there isn't something that we can't tell why you can't see. There could be damage to your eye.
To just say
Why do you refuse
he
to
hammed
say
it
that?
up? He hammed it up. He hammed it up. Just say
Okay,
he hammed it up.
let's judge it this way. Aljo's hamming it up and what he did. Who do you give the Academy Award to?
They both hammed it up,
Shut
100%. No, they both hammed it up. Aljo's was far more dramatic, for sure.
Like
it was far more dramatic. I agree. But nobody let Aljo slide. Nobody was like, oh, that was real.
Because he was posting videos that night, drinking with his family about how he was the champ.
That's the best way to get rid of a concussion.
Yeah. No, it is not. It is not. Look,
yeah, back to the rules, because all the weird hate that's going to come from me for saying that I think he could have continued, put that aside and let's focus on the actual the rule changes and if those make sense or not.
I don't agree with them right now. I will say this though. I think that before we do any of these amendments to the rules or rule changes or any of that stuff, I really honestly believe the UFC needs to do a better job with creating the curved gloves. They didn't, the last glove, there was less eye pokes. It was slightly curved with the different type of padding, and they got less knockouts, which is why they got rid of it. I think they as a company need to step up and create a better glove that does not allow for the eye pokes. That still delivers knockouts. You are a $7.7 billion company. I mean, just with one contract, they're worth more than that. I know that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's just one deal.
yeah, that's one deal. You are worth more than that. I don't understand why we can't put $20 million into trying to design a
Well,
new
let me
glove.
let me ask you this. Let me come at this from a different perspective. Do you think they care? Meaning, I know that sounds stupid. On paper, oh, UFC 321 was ruined, whatever. They're getting a much bigger fight out of it. A much bigger fight out of it. Whenever they do the rematch, it's bigger than this was going to be. And this isn't, while it seems like this is very often and it's not. If we get 14 fights a weekend. We don't have this happen every weekend. They literally might not care. They might be like, every now and then we get an eye poke, and this time we're going to get a huge rematch out of it. It's not worth the $20 million investment to design new gloves and then another 20 million to make them all.
Yeah. Okay. So you say that, and my sources tell me that it's actually Dana that kind of was looking for a change.
Okay. Yeah.
So Dana's not leading the charge, but Dana's like, look, this needs to be the UFC is
Sure.
saying there's something needs to be done. We need to fix it. But if you want to say that, be the one that leads the way on creating a new glove that takes there's how many eye pokes do you hear in Rising? How many eye pokes do you hear in like back in the day with Pride and all and I know
I don't think anybody watches
yeah,
Ryzen, and you
but
might have been allowed to eye poke in Pride.
yeah. But in Bellator in the beginnings portions of it all, they
Sure.
had the Everlast gloves that were curved down. Um I think that they need to exhaust all the avenues before making a change like this.
I,
This will
I
directly
agree.
reflect the sport for years to come. It will open up a lot more questions than I actually have answers to. Like it's going to create more problems in the long run, I believe.
The last I could not agree more. The last thing you ever want to do is give a referee, give an umpire, whatever sport you're watching. The last thing you want to do is give them even more influence on the game or on the outcome. They're just there to enforce rules, and giving a referee even more power can be a problem because we've seen some pretty bad refing.
That's not what this does, though. It actually takes it out of the ref's hands. He
It
has
takes the
no authority.
judgment. No,
No, it takes the judgment of it. He has no authority now. Like before, it was strictly his judgment on like, okay, look, I've told you 4 times. Okay, now it's
sure.
getting out of hand. It's his judgment to take the point. It's his judgment to that's gone. It is what it is. There's nothing he can do now. If you do this and I have it on camera, I have to take a point.
And I guess understood. I guess what I'm saying is maybe it's not his choice, but that human being in the octagon now has a much larger role in the outcome of this fight. Whether it's their choice or not, they have a much larger role in the outcome of that fight.
And
And
that's
that's
when
a
I go
problem.
back to the betting. That scares me because now you're putting these referees in danger of being like, hey, I had to take the point. Okay. Like now they can be accused of fixing fights. Now they can be accused or anything. Like people are gonna send them hate mail. You did this, you did that, not realizing what the rules are. You know how many idiots the other day?
Even if they do, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
You know how many idiots the other day I had when we posted that video about the eye thing? And I said, and they're like, yeah, he should have got his 5 minutes and this, and that. He's not guaranteed 5 minutes. Stop telling me the fucking rules.
I saw somebody
No,
comment saying they had changed the rule.
no, they did not change the rule. It has
I
never
don't know.
been that. I actually can read it to you word for word on how it goes. It is not, you're not guaranteed 5 minutes. It's up
But
to the
but
ref's discretions.
doesn't it also allow that also means it could potentially allow for more than 5 minutes if you need
No,
10 to
can
get
never
your
go more than
shit
five.
together. Oh,
Nope. Never
so
go
there
more
is
than
some sort
five.
of limit.
Injury time is always 5 minutes. You got to make a decision.
So if we go back to the potential nefarious nature,
Mhm.
so let's say we do add these rules that say if your hands are open, a point can be deducted whether you have fouled or not. You have not fouled anybody, but you keep opening your hands, points are taken away. This does introduce the ability, so there is still some judgment call there. It's still up to the ref to say, "Oh, your hand was open," or "No, it's not," right? This introduces more influence and more opportunity for a referee to be kind of shady. And I'm not saying the refs are shady. I'm not saying they're gambling, but before you kind of had to poke somebody in the eye for a referee. You have to do something for a point to be taken away. Now you don't actually have to do something. You could create the illusion that something might happen and they can take points away. That does introduce the ability for a ref to have
Oh, interesting, yeah.
far more influence on the fight.
Yeah, strong possibility there. but they're
No, I'm not saying they would. I'm
no,
just
no, they're handcuffed though. That's my point though. Is that they're
they
handcuffed
can't
and
ignore it.
they can't. And it really does open up, like I said, a whole plethora of other things that they could potentially be talked about moving forward. Now every fighter's gonna be like, look, this dude grabbed the fence. I don't care if it was for 2 seconds. I went to lift, he's restricted my motion. That stopped me from advancing my position. That point needs to be taken.
Yeah.
Like this is where like all the complaining by commentators, by media, by everyone about how the rules, like, oh, they don't should take a point. He grabbed the fence and oh, like one strike behind the head, all of these things, it leads to amendments to rules. Then now we're gonna have a sport that's just controlled by the rule system. We see it now in the NFL. If you touch a receiver, it's a fucking 15-yard penalty and a first down. If you touch a quarterback, it's a 15-yard penalty and a first down. It's ridiculous. It's
So
ridiculous.
if we compare this to those sports, I'm not necessarily opposed to making adjustments as we need to. I'm not even opposed to being a little more casual with taking points away. You can't do it in a vacuum though. You can't only create situation where points can be removed and then stick to the same scoring criteria for the points themselves. For example, in football, you add penalties, right? 15 yards, but you first down and you still have plenty of opportunities to make up that penalty. In MMA, you have no opportunity to make up. They took the point away. You could dominate. You could have a 10-9 round, right? Very clear win. That is your round. Took a point away. It's now 9-9. You don't have the ability to earn that point back. You don't have the ability to refer. Obviously, you can knock somebody out. You can submit them, but that's not a reality in every fight. So I guess my point is, if we're going to make it this hard to get a 10-8, almost impossible to get a 10-7, for them to just willy-nilly take points away seems like an uphill battle, an impossible task for the fighter that got penalized, where every other sport, there is a penalty, but it's not a death sentence to the outcome of that game. Where in MMA, you start taking 2 points away, that's a death. You're not winning that fight unless you find a knockout.
Yeah, and that's the problem that I have with this rule or adjustment to the rule. And it's being contemplated right now. They have a board that has basically the rule set. They have a board that gets together and they talk about, hey, this is what we're going to thinking about doing. This is what we're thinking about doing. And this is what's come up so far, and it could be, like I said, it could be well over the top that could affect the outcome of fights. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I would, no, I mean, outside of Michael Bisping, I don't think anyone else has lost their eye, right? I mean, I don't think anyone else lost
He
their eye.
didn't even lose his eye to anything illegal.
Yeah.
I mean, well, actually, literally nothing illegal. Vitor was juiced up, but it was TRT. Perfect. He was allowed to do it, and it was his foot. It was a kick. It wasn't an eye poke.
Yeah.
He just kicked the eyeball out of him.
Yeah. And so when the adjustment to this rule really could have a long-standing outcome, devastating outcome to these fights. How often do fights end from eye pokes?
That's what I was saying before. I don't know. I don't have a stat, but
Yeah.
it can't be that much. I mean, we watch 14 fights a weekend. There's 52 weeks in a year. I think there's 44 events.
Yeah.
44 weekends of about 12 to 15 fights.
And that's not counting
how many.
That's not counting Dana White Contender Series, Ultimate
Correct.
Fighter. That's not counting all those.
Obviously, when there's an eye poke at this magnitude in a title fight in a main event, it's dramatic. And we have had cards where there's been 2 or 3 eye pokes, but rarely does it end the fight, right? You get an eye poke, it stops the action, a point's taken. You get an eye poke, stops the action, it's a problem. Rarely does it end the actual fight. So we might actually be overcompensating here. Spend the money, fix the gloves, take points away like more freely when there is a foul. Ariel's 100% right when he says, who cares if it's intentional or not? He's 100% right. Who cares?
I agree with that.
If it's intentional, then you should be disqualified because you're a cheating piece of shit. Every other foul needs to be seen as unintentional. Because if you did it on purpose, if I headbutt you on purpose, I'm out. Fight's over, I'm out. And if I purposely go like this, fight should be over, I'm out. So did Cyril Gane do that on purpose? No. Is it his style to fight with open hands? Yes. Does that style make it a little more conducive of poking somebody in the eye? Yes, it does. So in his case, I don't think Cyril should be DQ'd because he's not doing it on purpose, but points should be flying. you should take points away more freely. So I don't think the answer is take points away because of how somebody holds their hands. I think the answer is what Jim Miller said, which is take a point away as soon as it happens, whether it's severe or not.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just a little eye poking, you just need to shake it off real quick, whatever, point. As long as you can verify in the camera, because you don't want people faking it. So then point. But to say, oh, your hands are open, that's a warning. Hands are open again. Sorry, that's a point. That's crazy. You didn't do anything yet.
I think in my career, right, I've got like probably 10 or 14 fights somewhere in there. They're not even on my record because they actually happened before camcorders were really around.
Well, I got a bunch of those too. I won them all, by the way, undefeated. And my girlfriend goes to a different school, so you won't meet her.
That was the most ridiculous.
These are good jokes, and honestly, the comment section will get
These
it. You won't.
Very, very bad.
No, jokes. That was good. The comment section will get it.
You definitely are.
You guys will get it.
You definitely are a dad.
No, that wasn't even a dad joke. That was just a sweet joke. Those were good jokes. Those were back-to-back good jokes. But go ahead.
No.
Tell us about these fights that aren't on.
Why did the chicken cross the road? Because that's a dad joke.
And my joke.
That is the greatest joke ever. Oh, that was great. All right. Anyways.
Yeah. Tell us about these phantom fights that don't exist. You won most of them, I'm assuming.
Of course.
Yeah, see?
I won them all.
Just
back when
like me.
No one knew how to grapple or wrestle, though. No one knew what jiu-jitsu was. And I had wrestling. So I was like, hey. But I forgot where I was going with this.
Something about you got poked in the eye back in the day, or
I've never poked anyone in the eye. All of my fights, I've never poked anyone in the eye. I've been poked in the eye a couple times, but I've never poked anyone in the eye. And I actually have that tendency to parry punches in reaching out, to block punches. That's how
especially as a wrestler, because you want your hands open to grab something.
Not only that,
some people grab wrist. John Jones fights like that, and I know he's been accused of an eye as an eye poker on purpose, but his hands are open because he grabs your wrists in the air, like he holds your hand in the like. If you're forcing people to close their hands, or you're going to take points away, that fundamentally changes how people fight, and that's not something you can do in a 2-week period between pay-per-view events. That's extreme.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to do it before 322, but they are trying to make some sort of amendment as fast as they can. If it gets done before 322, you could possibly see that happen. I can see that happening. If they don't, then maybe they'll try to make some other adjustments. But ultimately,
I think the adjustment is when there's a foul, take a point immediately. I think that's an adjustment you can make right now that has a material impact, but doesn't change how people train, how people stand, how people fight. If you poke someone in the eye, the point's gone. Even if it's an easy eye poke that was an accident.
Yeah.
Point.
Yeah, my talk is
to say your hands are open is like, whoa.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out what happens because, like I said, there's a board that actually puts together the rules, and they're gonna make but you've got 15 or 20 of these people on the board, right? And they're gonna basically kick it around. They're gonna do what every board does, right? And just not forget, some of them are like elected officials. They're going to be all involved. And so you can expect this may take longer than before 322.
Look how long it took for the knee and 12-6 elbows.
Yeah.
Both of those took forever. They've adjusted. The knee is a good example. They've adjusted what a ground opponent is a handful of times over the last 5-10 years.
Yeah. People have hated that though, by the way. They've hated it. And now they're finally understanding that they like it, because right when they made that adjustment and they changed it, and then this last time they changed it to what it is now, even refs were coming out and going like, oh, I don't like it. And those refs have made some adjustments, and they said,
it's so much better. Yeah.
Much better.
Nobody can play this game anymore.
Yeah. That was dumb from the beginning. So, and I've always thought the 12-6 elbow was dumb from the beginning. I think that we should be allowed knees to the head to a grounded opponent. It'll change.
What was the issue? What was the issue with the 12-6 elbow? I actually don't understand what the problem. I understand back to the head, whatever. What's the issue with 12-6?
It was when they were originally with the Fertitta brothers trying to get it legalized in certain states. Certain states commissions thought like because they seen this in video and movies that like someone could die from it.
Oh, so there was no real,
and it was literally like one of those conversations where I think Lorenzo Fertitta even come out and said like, we had to give in on letting them have that rule so we could have the sport. And it just makes sense. Like, I'm not going to argue with about 12-6 elbows when I've got the sport that actually now
you might lose that. Yeah. At least we have other elbows.
Yeah. We've got other elbows. We've got other things. Like they said no to down, knees to down opponent. They said no 12-6
I get
elbows. He's like, oh, this is so dumb. Why would you say it doesn't make a difference? And they're like, nope. They were fighting them tooth and nail. He's like, look, I'd rather just let them have it. Let's get our sport underway. We're legal now in this state. We're legal now in this state. It opened up what UFC is now. So you got to give in sometimes. You give a little to get more. So for them, that's exactly why we have a big sport right now. It's because little things like that we're compromised. In this situation, I'm not sure how to feel about it because, like I said, it does open up for stuff to be just. It could ruin a fight. It could definitely, and not that eye pokes can't ruin a fight. 100%. We just saw a ruin on Friday night or Saturday night. They're not enough ruin fights that this potentially could ruin more. But it's all basically it's like we won't know until the sample size is big enough to see how much it hurts. Will fighters make the adjustments if they do make that rule? Of course they will. Will it affect the way they fight? Will more people get knocked out? Will there be more like a lack of output? What will happen? We don't know what's going to happen, but we can just speculate on how these fights will end up playing out when you make a rule change like that. I was on my show last night. I was like, what happens now when the guy fakes the takedown and I go to put my hands out to dig underhooks, or I go to and that's natural reaction, right? To try to stop the hands on the shoulders or drop the hands underneath. And you just fainted like you were going to hit the takedown, but you didn't. You just lowered your level and I dropped my hands with my hands open. How are you going to look at that? I know it's only supposed to be for stand up and striking positions, but I don't know if he's going to wrestle. I don't know if he's going to throw a strike. If he feints the takedown, I drop my hands and then he comes over the top and knocks me out. Am I worried about my hands being open? Am I not? There's going to be some problems, man. I don't know if this is the answer.
Have you seen the movie Minority Report with Tom Cruise?
Yes, I have.
So the plot of that, so the plot of that movie, for people who haven't seen it, is they somehow, I forget the ins and outs of how it all worked, but the idea is they are arresting people before they commit crimes. They know that this person commits a crime. Maybe they can see in the future. I don't know what the hell it is. So they're arresting them before they commit the crime. Taking a point away from somebody just because their hands are open before there's an eye poke is the exact same thing. You're penalizing people before they did anything wrong. You're penalizing them and they didn't do anything wrong. So if you're going to fundamentally change, that's more than just, oh, we're enforcing the rule a little differently. Enforcing the rule differently is being more, dramatic or taking points away faster when a foul is committed. Taking points away because your hands are open and no foul has been committed, well, you're introducing a new foul. And the foul is you have an open hand, which is a new rule. No more open hands, which means people have to train differently and people have to do things differently. Like it's what the hell do I know? But you can't do that. You can't just change how people can open or close their hands. Now, if you poke somebody in the eye, take points away. Take 2 points away for that point. At least you can have an intelligent argument around, we need to put an end to this. And it's exactly what Jim Miller said. If I start taking points away and I do it every time and I do it consistently, people will learn to stop doing that. Fine. But to take points away from people who don't do that, doesn't Wonderboy fight with his hands open too? To take points away from people who have not eye poked anybody just because of their hand position, that's beyond enforcing the current rules differently. That is creating a new rule, and the new rule says you can't open your hands. I have an issue with that.
Yeah, I would agree with you actually on that part. I would agree with you. Like if you want to go ahead and take points every time an actual penalty is happens, I'm absolutely on board with it. But I also feel like we got to do the same thing for fence grabs. I feel like we should do the same thing for it gets a little bit more complicated with the growing shots. Because as the guy steps in to throw a shot and I throw an inside leg kick, he's literally stepping into my leg.
Yeah, he moved into it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's very much how that can't be avoided. Offensive
But that's the same idea as intentional eye poke and unintentional eye poke. The difference is if your hand is closed, you're not gonna you can move into it.
Yeah, you can move into it. Yeah. So that's where I get like the intentional, not intentional. It's a growing shot. Like you step in. And also too, it actually has a direct effect when the fighter is shorter than the taller guy. If I'm a taller guy and you throw,
and there's protection.
Yeah, and there is.
Cups aren't perfect, obviously. It still hurts. There's still issues, but at least there's protection there.
Mm-hmm. Most fighters
and the protection is there for that reason.
Yeah, most fighters are wearing steel cups. They should be. I'm not sure if they don't, then you're stupid. Like you should be wearing some sort of steel cup. Shoni Carter made a career off of
The
wearing.
problem is they don't make them yet. Like, cause I looked into them and I said, do you have bicycle helmet sized steel cups? They said we don't. So I just have to use a Pringles can.
Why don't you use that big bicycle helmet you wear on your head? Okay. That you could just throw it on down there, right? A little extra air pocket.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess I could use a real bicycle helmet because there's just so much mass that I have to keep it all, packaged up and safe.
All balls, no staff, huh? All balls. I guess ultimately, like, we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see. I'm sure they'll make some tweaks here and there. Anytime you get a big board together, everyone wants to have their 2 cents put in. So ultimately, what I was talking to people about yesterday and the day before is that this is the direction they were headed. Now, what we get in the end result may not be this. It may be more of what you're talking about. Every time there's an eye poke, we'll take a point. Every time there is, that your hard warning will be without, if I see you reach out with your hands, or if I see you offensively or defensively try to block punches with your hands open, we're going to give you your hard warning. But then what happens if I keep doing this? If I keep doing this and I don't poke you, okay, it's going to eventually happen. And they want fighters to understand that we're going to take a point. That's where it's complicated.
Taking a point away when a foul has not been committed seems a little crazy to me. Even the warning thing, I mean, that's kind of a courtesy, honestly. Like, it's a courtesy. Hey, guy, close your hands. Come on, let's not have issues here. But at the end of the day, like, you could warn me all you want. If I didn't do anything illegal, what are you warning me about? That's like if I'm going 25 miles an hour in a 25-mile speed zone, and a cop pulls me over and says, hey, stay doing the speed limit. It's like, I am. I'm doing the speed limit. What is the problem? It's the same thing. Like, hey, be careful. Don't poke him in the eye. I haven't. I have not poked him in the eye. What are we talking about? So it's a weird, hopefully there's a voice of reason in that room.
We're going to find out. I doubt it, though, just to be honest. I doubt it. So, I mean, ultimately, let us know in the comments down below. Let us know what your thoughts are on the potential rule changes, or not rule, but amendments, I think, to the actual real rule. And should they carry this on? If this is a rule change or amendment to this rule, are they going to try to push it for fence grabs and for growing shots and for other shots, illegal things? Will we even take it all the way to weigh-ins? If you miss weight by a pound, is it 1 point? If you miss weight by 4
that's my solution. That actually has been a solution I've theorized before with weigh-ins. Take a point away off the first round. Obviously, it doesn't matter if the other dude's just going to knock your dumb ass out anyway, but that's a much more material impact because that affects your money twice. The purse that you have to give up for missing weight, and you might not get your win bonus anymore because you're starting down around, basically.
Absolutely. So go ahead and leave us a comment down below. Also hit that thumbs up and the bell for notifications. Subscribe to our channel. Thank you guys so much. Angelo, Josh Thompson, we're out.